Hey guys, it's Woody here, Orwell, and welcome to my Luke Cage review. I finished this today, Monday, October 4th, 2016, and I started on Friday, September 30th, 2016, the day it came out, and gosh. First impression, oh my gosh. It was amazing. I loved it. And this just keeps on proving that Marvel can have a darker tone, an edgier tone, and Netflix is the perfect place for this. And it couldn't have been a better idea. You focus, on our Avengers, big picture, big battles with PG-13. And then you go down to Netflix, which the Avengers movies, the MCU movies, kind of form, because they all base this around, New York. They've done Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage in New York. And they are gonna do Iron Fist there too. And so these series are highly affected by the incident, they call it, which was the Battle of New York. This is kind of what formed this. This is like the post, Avengers incident, post Battle of New York, future. This is kind of showing how New York has healed and how, so many things have happened since then. And it's cool because there are these small stories that go around. They are slightly referenced, every now and then between other shows. And it's just amazing how they have all these little universes going around. They did Daredevil and Jessica Jones in Hell's Kitchen, New York, and then they went all the way back. They went to Harlem in this one. And so they just tell a really great story about the city of Harlem. Who owns this city, metaphorically, Whose Harlem is this? And so I'm going to be going into spoiler territory during this, so please, if you do not want any spoilers, I would suggest you leave the video now. So, assuming that everybody that's still watching this at this point has seen the show, wow, there is so much to talk about, and I'm going to start by kind of going over each individual main character. Now, let's start with the one, the only, Harlem's hero, Luke Cage. Gosh, where do I even start? It really, this series really shows, the struggle. People instantly think, oh, you have unbreakable skin, you have nothing to worry about, But at the same time, these villains, these other rivals, these people surrounding him, they're thinking too. So they go through all this trouble, and they almost had Luke Cage, they almost got him. If they would have shot another one of those Judas bullets, the bullets that explode when they shoot into Luke Cage, he would have been gone, and just, they say many times in the show, you may be unbreakable, they kind of say, but Harlem isn't. That's actually specifically what Misty said to Luke. You may be bulletproof, but Harlem ain't, is what she said. And so it's just telling a story about, and the origin story, of Luke Cage, how he started off, Carl Lucas, Preacher's father, and we learned that Diamondback is his brother, and Diamondback Diamondback is referenced ever since the beginning. He's this higher power that is referenced many times throughout the day. Why did I just say the day? I meant the series. And so, to find out that Luke Cage is half brothers with Diamondback is like, whoa, But nonetheless, I just have to say, there's so much I could expand on, such a big range, and so I just don't have time for that. So, so many characters, so many events, incidents, the storyline to talk about. I'm just going to sum it up by saying that Luke Cage was an amazing character in this show, and it really shows the struggles, that he goes through to save this city, and how many friends he lost in the making. He lost Pops, and that was very hard, and this is all building up to, Cottonmouth. Cottonmouth. Let's go to Cornell Cottonmouth Stokes next. The big bad, or so we thought. He was, of course, mainly advertised as the big bad, and we all expected it to be the big bad. And I thought from the beginning, I'm sure a lot of you did, oh, how's the final battle gonna be? He's totally gonna have this final showdown with him, on the last episode. Well, he gets cut a little short, as we learn by Diamondback. Well, not by Diamondback. By Mariah Dillard. I'm not going to go into all that yet because that's a whole lot of other stuff to expand. But Stokes was just full of anger. He would do anything to get that money, to sell the guns. It was all about business, and he did anything in the name of his business. And him and Mariah, as cousins, were working together. And then, of course, Mariah Dillard, the politician. I did not expect that if Cottonmouth was going to die at all, that Mariah Dillard herself was going to murder him. And only in 7th, 8th episode? I mean, geez. I was not expecting that. And let me just say, Alfre Woodard, great acting. Just everybody in the series did great acting. Simone Missick, Mike Coulter, who I had the pleasure of speaking to, asking questions at his Q&A at Comic-Con about the series. Thinking about that now after I see the show, it's like they really did a good job, And this show impressed me so much and made me much of a bigger Marvel fan that, I talked to that guy. I talked to Luke Cage himself. Oh my gosh. Also, Shades, great character. Kind of likable, kind of not, And what's going on with him and Mariah at the end of the series, I don't know. But Shades was a very complex character, and at first he kind of seemed like a henchman type guy, but then we kind of figured out he had a history with Luke at Seagate, who was then Carl Lucas. Speaking of Seagate, we got to learn how he got his powers and how Luke met Reva Connors, who we know was killed by Jessica Jones under Kilgrave's mind control. But yeah, Shades had a he backtracked all the way back to Seagate with Carl Lucas, and then eventually he finds out Carl Lucas is Luke Cage. And Shades is just such a cool character. I thought he was gonna die that one time when all those henchmen were taken in places. He ends up killing all of them, This is after Cottonmouth died and all that. But Shades, great character, really excited to see him return. And I am so surprised at how Mariah and Shades just walked out of jail. Just got out of there. I'm still confused as to how Shades got out. But, both of them. How did that happen? I feel so bad for Luke because the police think he's a criminal for the longest time. They're all framing him for the longest time. And Misty's just sitting there like, I know the truth. And they just are like, okay, but we don't care. That's what they basically said. And still at the end of the series, Luke gets taken away. I mean, jeez. Those darn NYPD officers, I'll tell you. Speaking of NYPD officers, reminded me, Raphael Scarf, Detective Scarf. I was really starting to like him. Then he choked out Chico. Then I was like, what are you doing? And then he died, and then we all felt for him in that episode, and felt bad for Misty, she was always with him. But the fact that he died a dealer, with Stokes, but at the end he had some good in him, and also, Claire Temple. It's always great to see her, and there's some comfort in seeing a familiar face in a new show like this. We see Claire Temple arrive into the back half of the series, and she's a great character, and I just could not expand more on how awesome Claire is. And surprised, I didn't expect her and Luke to, get together at the end of the episode. And they were hinting at coffee many times. But of course Luke got taken away. And I guess we'll see how he turns up if we don't see a season 2 before Defenders, which I think we'll see him in Defenders before a season 2. But before anything, we will get a Jessica Jones season 2. Then probably we'd get a Luke Cage season 2. Then Iron Fist season 2 and all that. Maybe, who knows, by then we'll get a Punisher season 2. I don't know. So much going on, in the future of the Netflix Marvel Universe. And speaking of Misty Knight, she has been confirmed to appear in the Defenders, so I'm really excited to see Misty. And I'm confused. They made it sound like her arm was going to have to be amputated, which in the comics she has that bionic arm. And just seemed like she just kind of healed. It was just, okay, yeah, now you're fine, at the end of the series. I was confused. I was like, whatever happened to her having the horrific bullet hole in her arm? She never got treatment for that or anything, did she? Just confuses me. But there were a lot of Easter eggs in this. There's a cool Stan Lee Easter egg, like a poster, like, see a crime, report it. And it was Stan Lee as the police officer, and he had the same 2 cameos in Daredevil and Jessica Jones. And I think possibly Daredevil season 2. I don't know. But that was cool. And then we saw an Iron Fist Easter egg at the end of the series. After Luke left, Claire saw on a post a paper that said, martial arts and combat training by Colleen Wing, who we know is going to be a main character. Can't talk. A main character in Iron Fist. And then Claire takes a number from that piece of paper. So Claire's going to be in Iron Fist, so that was kind of a cool little teaser that, tease that she will be in Iron Fist. But Diamondback was defeated shorter into the last episode than I thought he would be. But obviously they had to do all that stuff with Mariah Dillard and Shades and all that, and set up season 2. I'm glad Diamondback's gone, but speaking of that, at the very end we saw that Diamondback was left in the hands of none other than Dr. Burstein himself, the one that conducted the experiment on Luke Cage that gave him the powers. What's he gonna do with now he has all that intel? What's he gonna do? Bum, bum, bum. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to expand on. Luke Cage was a great series. In the future, I could do a predictions video, and I really hope that Luke Cage gets a cameo in Iron Fist. And we learned today that Iron Fist is premiering on March 17th, 2017, St. Patrick's Day. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment down below if you have any suggestions. See you guys later.